Welcome to a special episode. Guess where I am? Remember this? I am going to tell you guys a story. A story about old KRUSTOO and what he'd like to see in FS25. We're calling it FS25. Don't know for sure if that's what it's going to be called. We are probably looking at an announcement on Tuesday. I wanted to get this out today, and I'm not sure how it works, but I'm new to the Giants Partner Program. I may get some insider kind of info tomorrow, so I really wanted to get this recorded and published today so that whatever I say today is not impacted by what I might see tomorrow. So, yeah, long story short, let's go. This is going to be a big list. I've been meaning to do this for a long time. I didn't think I would get to it, and I just got inspired by my friend at Zorch Farming, who did a quick and dirty one where he just did some work. Just harvest. He was just doing some harvesting and talking, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'll try to put some timestamps. I'm not sure if I'll get to it, but I'll try to put some timestamps regarding where I the different categories, I guess, of what I'm going to talk about, because my list is really long. So anyways, off we go. Let me just check what I'm drilling here. Sorghum, that's fine. I don't really care. This is a game save. I'm not really playing or anything. It's just pretty much where we left off on this series when I finished it. So let's just get this started. And you know what? So I don't have to focus. Why don't I get Courseplay to do this? It'll be a nice visual in the background, and I won't have to worry about steering and turning around and all that stuff. So let's do that. Let me stop that for a second. Turn on my UI. We'll set a course. This is just, I don't really know if I'll use this background. I may strip the audio out of it and put something else in place. We'll see. I'm talking too much, and I'm not getting going with the project, so let's do that. Good enough. One harvester, doesn't matter. Off we go. All right. Let me turn this off. There we go. More scenic. We're planting sorghum in the biggest field. Okay. All right, guys. So I want to talk about a bunch of stuff. Here's stuff that I really would like to see, and there's an, kind of an order of priority here, but I'll probably jump all over the place in my usual method. So here we go. All right, I think the first thing, more than anything else that I want, and different people have different wants, the biggest thing that I want is an overhaul with the, what I'll call it, quality of life improvements on mod management. I want the ability to, I want to be able to search mods anywhere where there's mods. For example, if I'm about to start a new game save, I want to be able to search so that I can turn on and off certain mods. You can't do that. On PC, and I'm not sure what it's like on console, but on PC, I run about 1,600 mods. When I want to turn certain thing on or off, I have to scroll through 1,600. And they're alphabetical, so that kind of helps, but it's still a pain. I would like to just be able to, if I want to turn off Pigpen number 1, I want to pop open a search box, Pigpen number 1, turn it off. Just simple as that. So that's one thing that I want, but also, I would like to be able to filter. I would like to be able to show me all the pig pens, show me all of the forage harvesters, and so on. And I would like that functionality anywhere where there's any kind of mod management, whether it's downloading them, picking some for download or whatever. I want that functionality. Even more, I would love the ability to pin my favorite mods at the top of the list as soon as I pop open for a new game save, for example. right away, all the favorites are up there. And the reason I say favorites is because there's certain things that, especially as a content creator, I would like to be able to, like for example, course play. Perfect example, course play. Some series I want to run it, some series I don't want to. I would like to be able to not have to scroll to find it to turn it on or off. Pin it to the top. It's there, whether it's precision farming, enhanced animal system. This probably applies more to PC, but for me it would be absolute gold if I could pin my favorite things at the top, pin or favorite or whatever you want to call it. That would be awesome. So that's what I'd like to see from that. Talking about quality of life stuff, one of the things that drives me absolutely nuts is because of the number of mods that I have and the inability to search through them easily. Whenever I download a new map, there's often, or not often, but sometimes dependencies on the required additional mods that need to download. And if you've seen it, you download a map and all of a sudden it pops up a window and says you require the additional mods, and you only have an OK button. There are circumstances where I don't want those additional mods, and therefore I don't want that map. I need a bailout. I need to say no. There's some that kind of really mess me up, and if I have to remember my 1600 mods to find out if the map I downloaded last week had this mod that I absolutely don't want. Anyways, I know it sounds kind of picky, but give me an abort, give me a cancel at that point in time, and that way I can choose, you know, for example, let's say precision farming, for example. If I don't want that on my system, and I download a map that requires it, I want an option to say, you know what, I really don't want that. I changed my mind. So, okay. All right, what's next? So those are kind of the quality of life things that bother me. So let's talk a little bit about weather. I find that to add to the realism of the game and the challenge, I think we should, Giants should implement a weather system, a more sophisticated one than what we have. Right now we just have rain and not rain, or cloudy, I guess, cloudy and sunny. That's it. Those are the only real three options. Whenever it's raining, there's typically thunder and lightning that goes with it. But that's about it. I'd like to see more extreme weather events and randomized. So things like blizzards, tornadoes, hurricanes, flooding, drought, frost. I would like to see all those things implemented in the game to add challenge to the game, particularly random events. You know, I don't know about other parts of the world, but here in Canada, we have agricultural zones where, you know, expected last frost date is around this time, and, you know, first frost date is around this time, but ultimately it's entirely possible that we get a frost outside of those zones. So that's a random event, and it's something I'd like to see. I'd like to see damage to fields based on tornado, for example, or even barns or equipment. I would love to see that kind of thing. So, yep, that's weather. Pests. We don't have pests in the game. Pesticides. I know. The environmentalists hate them, but they're a true part of farming. You know, we could have different infestations that would impact yields on fields, and those could be random events as well. What else? I'm trying to see if I have a particular order I want to do that. I just have a big list that I wrote up in front of me. So I'm going to cross these out as I go along, so that way I don't do them again. What do I want to do next? Okay, let's talk a little bit about crops. Let's do crops. I think that's a kind of a straightforward, easy one. I'd like to see additional crops added to the game. And I have just some examples here, but there's endless, there's so many of them. Cabbage, triticale, hemp, orchard trees, apple, cherry, pear, orange, peach, nuts trees, fruits, you know, ground fruits, blueberries, raspberries, other things, peanuts, squashes, peas. I know there's a lot of mods out there and maps that have additional crops, but I think we should expand base game to include all kinds of new stuff. A lot more variety in not only the crops themselves, but the width of our equipment selection. That would be really fantastic. And I'm talking about this. The stuff that I'm wishing for is base game. It's not the ability for modders to add them. It's base game stuff I'd like to see. Animals, rabbits, meat chickens. I guess we can kind of do meat chickens in concept, but they're treated differently in real life than they are as layers. The chicken system in the game is very, very simplistic. Could use a little bit of a boost there. Goats, ducks, turkeys, alpacas for an alternate wool. I would like to have animal events, things like animals getting sick. I would like to see predator issues, events that happen overnight. We'll call them overnight because it's probably hard to animate them and stuff like that, but you got a bunch of chickens and you don't have a secure barn, you know, in your selection, or secure coop. If you have like just free range, for example, predators you get up in one morning and next thing you know you're short 20 chickens, or your whole flock potentially. So events like that would be good. It would kind of boost the need for protecting your livestock, which is a real thing. And you could maybe add guard dogs, for example, guard animals that would protect your flock. Geese are good at protecting chickens. You know, so there's a whole bunch of different things like that I'd love to see. I'd like to see animal behavior, such as at night, the chickens start disappearing from the yard, from the run, and go in at night, so you don't see them. And then, you know, if there's bad weather, for example, certain animals don't care, certain animals go in, you know, they try to get protection from the heavy rain or snow or whatever it is that's going on. I think something like the enhanced animal system would be good to have, and I think it would really be something that could be integrated base game. I think it needs to be tweaked from the current mod a bit, but ultimately that's reality. It's a lot closer to reality. It could be a feature, turn on, turn off kind of thing, but really, you know, I think it would be really good. Two things, quality of life things with regards to animals. One, when you drop a pen down, any kind of animal structure or shelter, please let me know before I place a chicken what the requirements are for that pen. Right now, if you take a pig pen, drop it down, and you want to see whether the pigs need water, for example, or how much food feed it can hold. You can't see that until you buy at least one pig. It's silly. That's, you know, just show it to me right away. Why are you hiding it? I know it's a UI thing. You know, let me click on the pen, not wait for me to put an animal down to see that detail. That'd be super helpful. And the other one is, I know there's a mod on PC to do this, don't know if it's available on console. Please let me move all, sell all. Let me enter the number manually for how many chickens I want. Those of you who followed my, well, this series with all the chickens that I had, selling those chickens, man, took forever. It took forever. Matter of fact, I don't even know if I still have them. I might have given up on them. You can only sell 60 at a time. That's ridiculous. Why? Just say sell all, or sell a whole category of them based on, you know, sell all the ones that are 100, you know, bucks or more or something. Yeah, that's my talk about animals. There's probably a few more things, but seasons. I want to talk about seasons. I have very mixed feelings about the current implementation of seasons. I much preferred the FS19 mod version, and I think the key element in that was the geos, the ability to dynamically scale the seasons based on the location of the map. Right now it's up to the map maker to implement that, but I'd like to select it. I would love to take a map, especially the ones that are not location specific. So if we take, for example, I don't know, no, this one, No Man's Land. It's nowhere. We don't know if this is an American map. We don't know if this is a Euro map. We don't know anything. It's just make it whatever you want, right? So let me make this a tropical geo. Let me make it a mountain geo, mountain-based. I don't know, a northern where it's colder. Let me change that to my liking so that I can create it. This especially applies to kind of sandbox-based maps. The other thing about seasons is what drives me nuts with seasons in the current implementation is that the game tells you when you can plant or not plant things or drill. And I would like to be a stupid farmer sometime and say, you know what, here's the season, here's the risk for me planting this late. I'm willing to take that risk. And hopefully, depending on how the weather forecast goes, I might be able to get that harvest in time. Let me make that mistake. That's one thing that I can't stand about the current seasons is that you just get a straight up no. You cannot do it. So, yeah, that's one of the reasons I turn it off. I would like to risk it. I think sometimes it can work outside of the... I want it recommended, not enforced kind of thing. Okay, that's my little bit about seasons. Where am I? I'm just crossing my list here, guys. I'm trying to make sure I cover everything. Talk about economy. I would love to see land, equipment, and livestock auctions. Equipment and livestock auctions is a pretty standard thing in farming. It's definitely a go-to for many a farmer, and it's I don't know why it's not there. I think it would be fairly simple to implement. That's just a UI logic kind of thing. You take your animals to the auction and you can buy stuff from the auction. Same thing with your equipment. You could put up used equipment you have on the auction and see what happens. Get a randomizer on NPCs trying to buy your equipment. That would be awesome. Absolutely awesome. Land is a little bit different, but it can still have a bidding process associated with it. So in real life, you can't just buy whatever land you want whenever you want. The owner has to put it up for sale. Ultimately, either that or you have to convince them to sell you stuff, which typically means if you're trying to convince somebody to sell something they weren't planning to sell, it probably means you're going to be paying a premium price for that. It's worth, so much more to you than it is to them kind of concept. So I would like to see a dynamic system for real estate, any kind of real estate transaction, and including a randomizer. Farmer Bob down the road has decided he's giving up, and he's put up his thing for sale, and it shows up this month. As you start a new month, it shows up and says, this land is up for sale, would you like to bid on it, kind of thing. And then you have to bid and wait to see if you can get it. You can even get fancy and include financing, seeing if the bank will approve your financing if you can't afford to buy it out cash. So yeah, I'd love to see that. I would love to see supply and demand impacts on sale price. Get rid of that month-based model that is an FS25, where it's all soybean is almost always best price in June or July in the game. If nobody's doing soybean or has inventory of soybean for sale in October, that's when the peak price should be. If somebody wants it in October, they should be willing to pay a really good price for it because there's a shortage of it. I would love to see that implemented instead. And that's probably some logic that requires a lot of work from a dev perspective, but as you play your map every night, every month, let's say, at midnight, calculations get done based on what farmers currently have in fields, what was sold in abundance in the previous month, stuff like that, and then come up with a pricing model for the following month. Month-based is fine. It doesn't have to be daily, although daily would be incredible. But something like that. Used equipment dealers. Just go to used equipment dealers and have lots of options. They can have a yard full of stuff, and some of it needs repairs. Some of it's, looks like heck, especially old stuff. And you can just go there and buy, your stuff. And it would separate out the new dealers, which sometimes have used equipment. That's normal. But also you can have, the junkyard guy down the road. I don't know if you watched my Ohio Richlands series where I bought some equipment from a guy. And I got taken for a ride on that one, but that can happen, right? Maybe there's an opportunity to buy a piece of equipment from somebody and actually turn around and sell it for more. That can happen. It happens. Right. What else on equipment? Realistic damage. This one I've been thinking about since FS19. If I drive a combine into a ditch or into a creek or something, there's going to be damage. Repair bill should jump right there. In FS19 in particular, and I remember this because I was goofing off one day. I drove one right off a cliff and tumbled and tumbled and tumbled, and it got to the bottom and no damage. That's a write-off. So there needs to be a better breakdown, repair, damage thing going on, so that you manage your costs. If you keep harvesting a field full of stones, your repair cost is going to shoot through the roof. That kind of thing. With that, there should be a randomized equipment failure rate on the field. So right now I'm running this Fendt 1050. It's in good shape because I've been taking good care of it. So there's a good chance I won't have any problems with it. But you never know. I can blow a gasket. I can do something. Something can happen. And all of a sudden, you know, this seed drill jams up or something, and you need repairs. You got to take it off the field or bring out a repair vehicle to fix it, because it won't work. It just stops. Like you have to stop. So I'd love to see that. Paint. Oh my god. I don't know what to say about that one. That's a roleplay setting. That's purely a roleplay setting and has zero impact on the game, and that should be an optional feature. Please give me an option to turn that off individually. Honestly, I don't find that much fun. I'm not a big role player. I think as a role player it would be important, but please turn it off or get rid of it altogether. Just leave me with the dirt. I can handle the dirt. The dirt is something that is fine. Let's see what else. Equipment on purchase. Please make it delivery. Pretty much, I want to say probably a vast majority of equipment that you buy, especially new equipment, the dealers will deliver it to your farm. You don't have to go get it. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you want to, especially if you have the equipment to go get it. But a lot of times farmers don't have, you know, they don't have that big low loader. Why would they buy a low loader if they're only going to use it once to deliver that, you know, that tractor they just bought? Please make it store deliveries part of the game somehow. I don't know how, but you know, the mod's there, the model is there. Just probably needs a bit of refining and integration. Maybe order maintenance. Get the dealership to come out and maintain your equipment if you don't want to do it yourself. Sometimes not all farmers have the skills or the time to do it. So, you know, click on a piece of equipment and request service, request maintenance call, or whatever you want to call it. All right, enough about equipment and economy. Hope you guys aren't bored yet. Talk a little bit about maps themselves. So one of the things that I would love to see, which would be an improvement more than anything else, it's not that the current state is bad, but I would love to see it improved. There is, when you select a map to download for the first time, you get some details about the map. You get some screenshots that show what the map is like, and usually there's a kind of a map, or you know, a map view of it in the screenshots, so you can see what the layout is like, and that's all nice. That's great. What happens though is if I download the map and then I go and say one day I decide, oh, I want to start a new game save, and I go to select my map, those things are not available to me. I can't see that. All I can see is just the title screen of the map, we'll call it. There's, you know, so that map I downloaded is 8 months ago that I don't remember. In order for me to go to decide if I want to start a game on that map, I have to go back to the download section and poke around to find it and see what the settings are. But on top of that, I'd love to see additional stuff on the map. Show, you know, field size. Is it small, medium, large fields, definitions? What's the geo that you know, from my other wish list item? What's the geo for this map? A whole bunch of additional kind of details that would, you know, what kind of map is it? A sandbox map? Is it a where is it in the world? All of those kinds of things would be nice to be able to see. Oh, a Brazilian map. I would love to, a Brazilian map with large fields and, you know, a southern geo. It sounds good to me. Oh, man. I'd love to see that. What I would love to see the most, though, out of maps is, I'm a big fan of sandbox maps. I love them. Giants, please assign a few geniuses to sit down and design a sandbox random map generator, where you push a button, you put in a seed or something, you push a button, and it goes and creates a sandbox for you with some, ideally, maybe basic roads, dirt roads maybe, or any type of watershed systems. You know, reasonable watershed systems. Had a lake here, had a river there, but you know, it's got to make a little bit of sense as to how the water flows and stuff like that. That would be absolute gold. Incredible gold. I think I would only play that, to be honest. That would be half the fun. So give that some thought, please, Giants. I would love to see that. Then you think this game is already unlimited playability? Add that to the mix. That would be incredible. Please, 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 please. All right, that's it for maps. Let's talk a little bit about visuals. As you can see, I've done my homework. I've made a lot of notes here. So the visuals, I'd love to see NPC farmers work in their fields. I'd like, as I'm working my fields and or I'm driving down a road, I can see some farmers out there working. Obviously, you know, when you go out, you don't see a lot of farmers out there all in the same day. You know, you go for a Saturday drive and you're going by a bunch of farms. You don't see everybody out there all the time. So it's not like it would be a graphical clutter kind of thing. But if you drive at 5 p.m. on a Sunday, you might see Farmer Bob, you know, tilling his fields, getting ready, you know, for drilling the next month or next day or whatever. It would be neat to see. There are some mod maps that do this, but you would need to see farm equipment moving down the road, you know, as NPC traffic. Somebody doing deliveries of bales or other things. Please improve the pedestrian logic. Make it a lot more random. Make it point A to point B, building to building, for example. Instead of the same guy walking back and forth like a zombie. I have a mod that I've been using lately that eliminates pedestrians, so I don't have to deal with them. They get kind of boring real fast. They always seem to jump out in front of the your truck or tractor. They don't seem to care, you know. So, anyways, there's that. And then another thing I'd love to see with the visuals is a better night darkness model. I know that working at night is challenging, and I know that realistically it's really challenging, but from a gameplay perspective, it should be a little bit easier to work at night. The way that the game currently behaves is it has this adaptable night vision thing going on, where if you go from dusk into night, it's really dark. It's hard to see, but at some point in the evening, you get it seems to brighten up a bit, and I don't know if that's moonlight related. It probably is. But that moonlight mode, I think, should be the default for all night. So as soon as you move out of dusk into night, just leave it at that moonlight mode. That way we can still work at night, or just for ease of gaming, not for reality purposes. Maybe it's a setting that you could turn on and off, but that would be really, really cool. Really, really cool. Okay, that's it for visuals. What else I gotta talk about? Still not done, guys. Still not done. productions, I want to talk about those a bit. I think they need to be scaled a little bit better from a price point. I think FS22 got production bloated, meaning harvesting off the fields was always way less profitable than productions. And I know that in real life that there is kind of that tone. You know, obviously the profits increase with any manufactured product, right? We know that, but the problem is, and that's realistic. But the problem is this is a farming game, not a productions game, and I worry that we've moved off of farming a little too much, and I'd love to see it get back to farming a bit. Production should be difficult to set up. You know, reward, the risk reward thing should be factored in, and it should be a lot more difficult to start up a grain mill. Like in real life, you got to build that thing. It costs money, but it should take time. I want a grain mill. All right, well, I'm gonna get the financing. I gotta get it, and then I have to start building process. They have to clear the land. They have to source all the materials to build it, and then it'll take them a year to build it. So I want to say make productions more difficult. I don't want to say remove them. I don't want to say make them less profitable. I want to say make it harder for productions to be a thing. Now, of course, you can buy an existing production, but that leads to another thing that is a pet peeve of mine in the game. If you buy an existing map production, you cannot sell it again. So if I'm buying a bakery, I should be able to sell it. Yeah, anyways, pet peeve. So I almost never buy existing productions. I always put my own down, because if I ever decide I want out, I want to be able to sell it. And I shouldn't, even when I sell it, I should not be able to just remove it from the map. Somebody else is buying it. They're not buying the scrap material, they're buying the bakery. So yeah. Sell points. The problems with sell points on maps in the game is that productions start as sell points. If you buy the production, you lose a sell point. So, and then you can't resell it. So, you have to compensate for that somehow. Anyways, I'm not quite sure where I want to go with that one, but it kind of bugs me a little bit. I'd love to see a system, and this is probably a little too fancy, but I'd love to see a system where you start a map, we'll call it a developed map, as opposed to a sandbox, and there are buildings set up on the map, and they don't start as sell points. They start as buildings. And as the map progresses, as your game save progresses, for example, let's say you're producing a lot of wheat. This is a simplistic example, but maybe that makes sense. If you're producing wheat a lot on the map, somebody might say, you know what, there's a good local source of wheat. I should start a bakery. And all of a sudden, after certain criteria is met, that building that you saw is now opens up as a bakery. So that when you develop your farm and your storyline, however you want to play it out in your mind, business starts booming as farming gets more successful. I don't know how that would work, to be honest. So there's certain things that I'd love to see that I have no idea how difficult it is to implement in the game. Obviously, there's a disconnect between PC and console as far as processing power, and that's the reason why we have certain limitations on console. So, whatever suggestions I would like to make, I definitely would want them to be on console as well. So, Yeah, that could bring up the whole other thing is why are PC and console so different? It feels like two different communities, you know? I don't know, there's got to be a way to bring them closer. So, productions I'd love to see, and I think this is more of a political thing than anything else, but I'd love to see wineries, breweries, abattoirs, butchers, all kinds of typical businesses that are involved in farming that are not present in Giants Game, and I think I know why they don't do certain things. A little bit of a Nintendo effect there, but yeah, again, there's some really interesting mods out there. Let's put it that way on the PC side. So, okay, that's it for productions. I'm starting to bore myself a little bit. I want to talk about roads. I know this is kind of a little side thing, but one of the things I'd really like to see in the game is a roads construction system. And I'm thinking of stuff like you would find in like a city skyline or whatever, where you can put down roads on your map that you're developing, and the roads automatically smooth, you know, according to terrain. They'll follow terrain, and they will automatically, like if it's an asphalt road, you get to choose, you know, is it a dirt road, is it an asphalt, is it concrete, whatever it is. And depending on what it is, like if it's asphalt, for example, it comes with lines with what do you call those, dotted lines and all of that kind of stuff. Automatically adjusts for intersections, you know, with stop lines and all of that kind of thing. But also it would automatically include all the road spline logic, meaning if you create roads with a tool in game, automatically your AI workers will respect the road. And I know that's probably a challenging one to implement, but I would love to see that. That's always been a little bit of a pet peeve, as how difficult self-made roads are, and you can't get AI to recognize them. So that, almost done, guys. Hang in there. Almost done. I think I've covered everything except for two more little things that I think are important, or not important. I think there's things I'd like to see. One is, I would love, right now we have, when you start a new game save, you have basically three options. You have a new farmer, you have farm manager, and you have start from scratch. Each one has its own default settings, most of which you can override, so that's not a problem. But I would love to see an additional setting called, two additional settings. The first one being called roleplay mode, which would turn on a whole bunch of things by default, including the newly integrated seasons setting, including, you know, maybe the precision like settings, maybe animal system, turn off all of the interactive zone markers, do a lot of those kinds of things that maybe turn off some UI settings for the heads up display. I think that would be cool. Just another different mode, and I'm not sure how you would dial in the economy settings with that, but that's up for discussion. The other setting I would like, and this one I'm not sure if it should actually be a different game altogether, but I would love to see a homesteading mode, where when you turn on this mode, first of all equipment, say over, let's say 50 horsepower, is removed from the game. Like, you can't see it. So you only have access to small equipment, and you are limited to one single land plot on the map. You can't go outside of that. You cannot buy other land. What you have to do is optimize your homestead based on the limited space that you have. You would have limited productions, obviously. And, you know, obviously you can't fire up a flour mill on a homestead. But you might have a small flour, personal flour mill. You know, you might have little equipment to run your homestead with. And the goal to a homestead would be not to be to make a lot of money as a successful business farmer. The goal of a homestead would be to be self-sustaining, meaning certain factors would come into play. For example, setting would be how many family members are there. If there's 7 in your family, then your food consumption is going to run, at this level. The amount of tomatoes, the amount of strawberries, the amount of bread that you need to make gets scaled. You could include things like preservation functions, like canning and dehydrating and all that kind of stuff. And it does feel like this should be a separate game. But there may be a way to integrate that into Farm Sim and make it a mode. So, anyways, I think that's it, guys. I know that I just rambled off a whole pile of stuff here. I'm really looking forward to see what happens this week, and really, I hope I get an early access to this information. I'm super excited about it. I will do another video similar to this on Tuesday, and I will use probably the assets from that launch or that announcement to put together my reaction to it. So yeah, and if I do get that stuff tomorrow, then I will most definitely, prepare it ahead of time so that right after the announcement, I'll have mine ready to go, ready to publish. I'll probably try to even schedule it and everything. So let's cross our fingers. Let's hope that the new version of Farming Simulator is more awesome than this one, even though this one's pretty awesome too. And I'm excited about this new wave that's coming. All right, guys, let me know what you think about all this in the comments. I know I said a lot of stuff, and yeah. Hope you guys have a great day.